everyone. My name is Rachel Lawhorn, and today I will be talking about Killeen, Texas, police, and the community. Um, so let's jump right in. To start, in Killeen, Texas, crime is constantly fluctuating based on the actions of the police department. We can see that through several years of data reported by the city of Killeen. To start in 2017, we'll see that the police department acknowledged that due to budget constraints, they were unable to hire as many officers as needed to combat the high level of crime. And that would lead to Killeen's deadliest year in 22 years. And then in 2023, under leadership of a new police chief, crime was significantly reduced in several major categories. The chief accredits this to a new program or to new programs and an increase in police patrol, something that Killeen desperately lacked in 2017. And in this presentation, we will examine what the Killeen Police Department did in order to make crime trend downward in the city as it currently is today. In 2017, Killeen is ranked the most dangerous city in Texas, tying with Lubbock, according to a survey done by the Darrow Law Firm in Houston, Texas. The crime statistics are as followed per 100,000. So the population is 140,497. Murder and homicide rates are at 7.11. Rape is at 52.67. Robbery is at 49.82. Aggravated assault is at 145.09, and all violent crime is at 284.2. At an August 2017 panel, the interim police chief, Margaret Young, stated that 32 positions would be eliminated at the police department because of city budget limitations. This greatly concerned the citizens of Killeen, who had come into the forum looking for answers to the string of violent crimes that had happened in the year prior, and instead were met with the news that the police force would be cut down. Due to such severe budget constraints and an increase in the population, Killeen Police Department was just simply unable to keep up with the amount of crime in the city. In fact, the Killeen Police Department received 155,738 calls for service from the city's estimated 145,482 residents. Due to the extreme understaffing from the department, they were forced to prioritize priority one calls, which left a lot of crime unsolved and unresolved, which was also a complaint of the residents. When thinking of those high numbers, you also have to think of the dark figure of crime that we've talked about. The residents of Killeen were very displeased by the lack of action from the police department, and it can be argued that more than likely, some people may have just given up on reporting crime altogether because they knew that it would go nowhere and they would get nowhere reporting it. Online FBI statistics could only pull data back as far as 1995, but from 1995 to 2017, so 22 years, 2017 was the deadliest year with 21 homicides reported, with 18 of them being criminal homicides. So in 2023, crime is down in 7 major categories. In a report pulled from NBERS, the national-based reporting system, it shows that crime was down in 7 major categories in Killeen in 2023. In 2022, there were 20 murders reported in Killeen. In 2023, the Killeen Police Department reported that there were only 9 such deaths. There was a 3.7% decrease in rape, a 9.3% decrease in robberies, and an 11.9% decrease in aggravated assaults. The decrease in crime rates are likely tied to the employment of the new police chief, Pete Lopez. Chief Lopez implemented several new programs in the city, including the Organized Crime Unit, the Violent Criminal Apprehension Team, and the Property Crimes Unit. However, because these programs were heavily focused on violent crime, motor vehicle thefts went up 66%, as well as reports of nonviolent crime went up 11%, because that's just not where the department was prioritizing their efforts. The Killeen Police Department also seemed to realize that crime moves around and they had to kind of chase the crime. So that means that they started to look at data from the previous 28 days and put patrols in area where crime was highest within that last month. Um, Chief Lopez's goal with that program was to stop crime before it happens. And that also happens by performing traffic stops, which in turn finds things like drugs and guns, maybe domestic disputes, things like that. And then, due to the increase of police patrol, violent crime has decreased in Killeen. In 2017, the police department acknowledged that they just simply didn't have a large enough police force to be everywhere at one time. In 2023, Killeen was able to implement these programs to help prioritize the areas that needed police presence the most and to stop crime before it even happens. And they just had the resources to do that. So, what changed between 2017 and 2023? First and most obvious, an increase in police patrol. Secondly, the police department called in reinforcements. They called the Department of Justice. They partnered with other law enforcement agencies, and based on the Department of Justice's recommendation, they hired a crime data analyst. And then the last thing we'll talk about is that the criminal investigative unit was split into two agencies so that one unit could focus on violent crime and help find the resolutions faster, because as we talked about, it really frustrated citizens that things were going unsolved and unresolved. So it's very obvious that whatever Killeen did between 2017 and 2023 seems to be working, as we can see the crime rates trending downward. As we know, in 2017, budget constraints strained the department, and they were unable to have a strong police force when and where it was needed. Between then and now, KPD has been able to fill those vacancies. And then following the year that was 2017, again, the deadliest year in 22 years, Killeen called in reinforcements because they just needed some help. So they asked the Department of Justice to get involved. The Department of Justice recommended changes within the department, as well as more training for its officers. The Department of Justice also recommended that the city hire a crime data analyst in order to be able to solve crime faster and more effectively. By hiring a data analyst, law enforcement no longer patrols blindly, but with purpose. They're able to use data from maps that we'll see in the next slide, and other resources to really know where to focus their efforts. They also began to rely more heavily on other law enforcement agencies, such as the Bell County District Attorney's Office, the U.S. Attorney's Office out of Waco, the Texas Department of Public Safety, the FBI, the ATF, the DEA, the U.S. Marshals. Lots of resources for them to use. And it allowed them to partner with those agencies in order to share information, obtain warrants, and help keep repeat offenders off the streets. And then lastly, Commander Anthony Lawrence says that they're able to solve crime, namely homicide, faster than ever before, thanks to a few of the new practices that the police department has put into place. This includes that the criminal investigative unit was split into two agencies, allowing half of the detectives to focus on just violent crime. While it's less people, because their focus is just on the violent crime, they're able to solve the crime faster. So the next thing that we will look at is crime maps versus household income. So we have three photos: the household income map up in the top right corner. And then we have the corresponding crime map in the bottom left corner. And then the crime map used by city residents in the city of Killeen to see where and what crimes are happening in their area. And that is in the bottom right corner, labeled crime map 2. So we have the household income map, crime map 1 in the left, and then crime map 2 to the right. So the map begs the age-old question: is crime related to income and poverty? It's fascinating because the colors are very similar in both maps. If you look at the southeast side of every single photo that you look at, you can see that the income is higher and the crime rate is lower. So in South Killeen, in the Lions Park neighborhood area, based on crime map 2, the map that the citizens are able to access and look at, the crime happening in that area is mostly nonviolent crimes, such as motor vehicle burglaries. However, in North Killeen, where the household income is lower, the crime rate is higher and includes violent crimes that we can see on crime map 2: aggravated assaults, homicides, and burglary. So it can be assumed, based on the programs we know, the city of Killeen has, the police department likely focuses its efforts on the lower income areas where crime happens the very most. So, in conclusion, I don't know why I'm two places on the screen, but in conclusion, the Killeen Department has made strides in their effort to lower crime within the city by implementing new programs, creating the crime maps for citizens to reference, and hiring more patrol and making informed decisions based on where crime is highest in the city. So, will they ever eliminate crime? No. But are they doing everything they can to stop it, to prevent it, to stop it before it starts, and to put away the criminals that do commit the crimes? Yes, I would say that they are obviously working hard and that they are very effective in their efforts, as we can see by the way that the crime rates trend downwards. Crime rates trend downwards. And then lastly is my works cited page where you can find everything that I referenced throughout this article. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Thank you for watching.